A very good evening once again, all of you. I welcome to my channel. So today in this video, I have come up with a next video on the international relation. This is the Indo-US relations. Friends, before that, I have made a video on India-Israel relations as well as the India-US relations. So please, if you have not watched those videos, then go. I have provided the link in the description box as well as on the I button. So please go and watch those videos. So in this video, we will talk about the Indo-US relationship. Friends, this video is going to be very important for UPSC, IAS, mains prelims as well as the NDS CDS examination, and this topic is very important for your interview, SSB lecture 8 as well as group discussion topic. So friends, we all know that currently the America is very much in the news since when Donald Trump came into power, and amid coronavirus, the China US tension is very much in the news. So it is very expected to come questions in any kind of exam or the interview from this topic. So let's begin. So in this topic, we will talk about the Indo-US relation in a very sequential manner. We will firstly talk the introduction, followed by the historical relations between the two nations, and later on we will talk about the defense cooperation between India and USA, and as well as the energy cooperation, followed by the economic cooperation and the political relations, and at the last we will see the current issues that two countries are facing in maintaining the relationship, and at the end I will conclude by giving a small conclusion. So let's begin. So before starting the topic, I want to give you a quote. That quote is given by one of the US senator as well as the US diplomat, and that was William Clay. He said that in the geopolitics there are no permanent friends or the permanent enemy. There is just a permanent interest. So now, before we get into the subject, we know that PM Modi visited USA in September 2019 and chaired the Howdy Modi event in Houston, Texas, state of United States of America, and as well as the Donald Trump visited India in February 2020 and chaired the Namaste Trump event that was held in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. So I hope you know about this already. Now talking about the introduction between the two nations relations. So a shift in global geopolitics in the post-Cold War era, India's economic ascent, the rise of an assertive China, the relations between India and US have transformed from estranged democracies to strategic partners. So friends, we all know that India after independence did not have a good relation with USA. USA was inclined towards Pakistan, but after the Cold Era, after the fall of USSR in 1991, India and Pakistan, India and US started coming closer, as well as the India's threat from China. It it turned back India into the help of USA, and both the countries become a very strategic partners. US and India, though being the oldest and the largest democracies respectively, remained detached before 1991. So we all know that before 1991 there was worst relation between the two nations, as in 1971 USA was about to attack invade on India, but USSR, the Soviet Union, saved India from US attack, and US and India in the post-Cold era turned into strategic allies. Now, talking about the historical relations between India and US, then the challenges between two countries soon after 1947, because India was the largest democracy in the world, and India chose to be a non-aligned. Because India was non-aligned, had an independent foreign policy. So friends, we all know that after the World War II, there was a competition between USA and USSR to make the countries, make the bloc of the countries, make the group of the countries on the basis of capitalism or the communism. So America wanted India to join their capitalist grouping, but India chose to be a non-aligned, and India also founded the non-aligned movement in 1961. And the relation between India and US was as bad as you can see that there is a law, PL 480 agreement. It is a law in the United Nations Parliament under which the USA refused to export wheat grains to India in 1960s when India badly needed it in the time of famine. So we all know that in 1960s, after the war of with China in 1962, India had lost that war and there was a great famine in India, and India was running out of wheat grains. but USA made some changes in their PL 480 agreement, and they did not provide wheat grains to India. And I think you remember the incident when our Prime Minister, the contemporary Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri, gave a slogan. He gave an idea that do start fasting on first day on any one of the week. So every people followed him, and people of India started to fast on every Monday after saying of the Lal Bahadur Shastri. And after that, the green that result into the green revolution in India by MS Swaminathan in 1966. US was completely aligned with Pakistan under Baghdad Pact or the Central Treaty Organization Treaty Ally. So US and Pakistan was very close, and they were creating pressure on India. In 1971 war, US pressurized India and tried to attack India, but USSR, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship with USSR saved India from US attack. Now talking more about the historical relations, then after the Cold War that was ended in 1991 with the fall of USSR, ever since the relations has definitely improved, and now it is at all new heights. We all know that now the India and US are strategic partners. In 1988 to 1989, Rajiv Gandhi, the Prime Minister of India, visited US, and after that, every of the US president has visited India. Let's take the Bill Clinton, the George Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump. Everyone have visited India after that. And milestone in the relationship between India and US comes in 2006 when Indo-US nuclear deal was signed. It was an agreement done by the Indian Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and the American President George Bush. It was the turning point between the two countries' relation, and as well as in 2001, we all know that the Osama bin Laden attacked on World Trade Center, that is also called as the 9/11 attack. And since then, the US inclination towards Pakistan decreased, and USA tried to finish all the terrorists. And we all know that Osama bin Laden was founded in Pakistan, Abbottabad city. And so since then, the US-Pakistan relations started to be damaged, and US looking for India as a close ally. Now in 2002, later in 2020, during President Trump's visit to India, the Comprehensive Global Strategic Partnership Agreement was signed. And as well as during the time of COVID-19 pandemic, India exported large quantity of hydroxychloroquine medicines to US, and US provided ventilators to India. Now I will talk about the factors that binds the good relationship between US and India, because both the countries are democracy. One, the US is the world's oldest democracy, and India is the world's largest democracy. So this is the main factor that become a very good cause for India US close ties. And the similar geopolitical concerns amid Asia Pacific and South China Sea. We all know that China is a threat to India as well as US. So because of the same geopolitical concerns, both the countries are naturally coming together. India has been also seen as a big market for US companies, because India is the largest populated country in the world after China, and India is a big market for everyone, so as usual for US as well. Now talking about the defense cooperation, then India and US conduct the joint exercises. The first one, the Malabar Naval Exercise. This is a trilateral naval exercise, and the participants are India, Japan, and US. Earlier, Australia was also a part of this, but since 2008, because of the pressure of China, Australia left this group. And India and US jointly have a military exercise called Vajra Prahar and the Yudh Abhyas. And recently, in the month of November 2019, the Tiger Triumph military exercise was conducted. It was a tri-services military exercise. The both Army, Navy, and Air Force participated in exercise. And friends, let me tell you that this was asked in my CDS exam, CDS 1 2020. So this is very important for upcoming exams or your interviews. India is America's major non-NATO ally. We all know that NATO is a group of 29 countries which have a mutual defense treaty. The NATO full form is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So India is America's major non-NATO ally. In the last 13 years, India has purchased defense items from USA worth 20 billion US dollar, and the 7 billion US dollar more in the progress. We are planning to purchase the MH-60 Romeo helicopter. India is also planning to purchase America's third missile defense system as well as the F-35 fighter jet plane. Currently in 2020, the MH-60 Romeo helicopter, which is a submarine hunting helicopter for Indian Navy, worth billion $3 billion agreement was signed, and as well as the industrial security annexure was signed between India and USA, under which the joint collaboration of defense projects will be started. Now more about this, then India has signed three foundational agreements with US that makes US India strategic defense partner. First is GSOMIA, General Security of Military Info Agreement. Second is LEMOA, Logistic Exchange Memorandum of Understanding. COMCASA, that is Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement. And fourth needs to be signed the BECA, the Basic Exchange Cooperation Agreement on Geospatial Operation. So friends, I have posted already a video on these four things: the CATSA, COMCASA, BECA, LEMOA, and GSOMIA. So please go and watch this video if you have not watched this. So both countries has common interest in Indo-Pacific region, has similar opinion as far as the freedom of navigation is concerned, and activities of China mainly in the region of South China Sea. So friends, we all know that the growing assertive nature of China as in South China Sea as well as in the Indian Ocean. So this is a common interest of India and USA combinedly. Both countries have the same cause of concern, and that is China, because of which the US and India relationship is coming closer. It is the major areas of common concern for both the countries. India and US are also the parts of Quad. Quad initiative is a group of 4 countries that includes the India, US, Japan, and Australia. Now coming to the energy cooperation between the India and US, then Indo-US nuclear deal 2006 was signed, and it was a landmark event between the history of the relations of two countries. In 2018, the enhanced strategic dialogue on energy was announced, and US, we all know that US is the second largest producer of oil and shale gas, and US is the 6th largest source of crude oil and hydrocarbons import into India. In 2019, during the Houston Howdy Modi event, the various energy deals were signed between India and US. In 2020, the agreement to build 6 nuclear reactors in Andhra Pradesh was signed with United States of America. Now coming to the economic cooperation between India and US, then US is one of the largest source of FDI in India. The remittances to India worth 12 billion US dollar comes from US every year. So friends, I think you know the remittances. If you don't know that, I will explain you. The remittances is the money that the non-Indian citizens, the non-resident Indians who are living in another countries, they send the money to their family and their relatives in India. So these monies are called the remittances. So India is getting the second highest amount of remittances from United States of America. And the bilateral trade between India and US worth 142 billion US dollar, and this trade is in the favor of India. It means that India export more to the United States than India import from USA. And India is the ninth largest trading partner of USA, and USA is the second largest trading partner of India after China. In 2020, the free trade agreement between India and US had to be signed, but due to the negotiation, both the countries, the leaders of both the countries, they did not come into conclusion, and that's why it was postponed for the further negotiation. US is the home of over 4 million Indian origin people. US is the home of over more than 4 million people of Indian diaspora. Now talking about the political relations between India and US, then the post-Cold War era, the relations has definitely improved. The US backs India's permanent candidature in United Nations Security Council, and US also backs India's admission into multilateral export control regimes such as the MTCR, Missile Technology Control Regime, Wassenaar Arrangement, Australia Group. And US also backs India to join the membership of nuclear supplier group, and India has become a part of this group. And apart from this, India and US, they are also the part of Quad grouping. I already mentioned this. And apart from these, India and US are also the member of G20 and JAI Summit. Japan, America, and India. US wants India admission into G7 group. Recently, it was in the news because Donald Trump said that he wants to add up 4 more countries in G7, and that was Russia, India, South Korea, and Australia. So India is one of them, and which shows that India is a strategic ally of USA nowadays. Now coming to the current issues between India and USA that are going through. So the first one is CAATSA. This is a US federal law countering America's adversary to Sanctions Act, under which there are 3 countries, the Russia, Iran, and North Korea. I have already made a video on CAATSA. Please go and watch. I will provide the link in the description box. And so currently India is purchasing the S-400 missile defense system from Russia. So there is a threat on the for the sanctions on India, because India is purchasing S-400, and India has also a deep engagement with Iran, and Iran was the one of the largest oil supplier to India. So this is the most important irritant between the relations between India and US. And we all know that H-1B visa is a process of getting visa in US. The US is trying, the Donald Trump regime is trying to strengthen this law and its visa policy, and it will harm basically Indians, because US is the home of 4 million people of Indian origin, and the GSP, the General System of Preferences at WTO. Recently, the US pulled back the GSP system that was given to India, under which India will be not benefited of $6 billion worth trade. Actually, when India and US used to do trade, then India had got the general system of preferences, under which India could export $6 billion worth of trade volume more. But now India will not get this benefit, and the trade deficit between the two nations is the major cause of irritant between the relationship with India and US. The US Taliban peace deal, which is currently going on between US and Taliban, which is a major cause of concern for India. We all know that two countries have different positions on Afghanistan as well. Actually, US wants immediate withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan is a cause of concern for India, because India has a great interest in Afghanistan. India had invested billions of dollars in Afghanistan. India is constructing the roadways, railways. India has built up the dams, parliament, schools, hospitals in Afghanistan. So if US soldiers immediately pull out from Afghanistan, then there will be danger on the Indian investment in Afghanistan, because it is said that the Taliban is being controlled by Pakistan, and Pakistan, being the enemy of India, will not safeguard India's interest in Afghanistan. Now this is all we have seen about the India-US relation. Now we will talk about the conclusion. So both the countries need to cut out the irritants between Indo-US relationship as soon as possible, and the sharp and the combined engagement in South China Sea will be better for the both countries, because in South China Sea, China wants to block the trade from US and India, and in this regard currently India and US had conducted a naval exercise, that is SpaceX exercise, in 2020 after COVID-19 era, and provide free navigation in Indo-Pacific region. Friends, we all know that Indo-Pacific region is the region where about more than 50% of the global trades are done from. So this is very important to make sure that the freedom of navigation is there in this region, and the two countries India and US should come close to counter the common threat China. We all know currently we have seen the aggression of China on Ladakh India border, as well as Sikkim and Pangong Tso Lake. So India and US need to come together to counter China as a common threat as well as the global threat. So please go. I have also made a video on India China face off. So please go and also watch it. I will provide the link in the description box. So I hope you like the video. If you like, then please press the like button, and please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon. And that's all. Jai Hind. Take care. Good night.